But when the riots happened in Newark, I was actually around. I got to see that. One thing that my mom did was she actually went around giving the soldiers coffee. I think probably the biggest thing that my mom did to keep me on the straight and narrow was to make sure that all the other parents in the neighborhood was keeping an eye on me. I grew up in that era where, my next door neighbor or my buddy's mom could get on me just as much as my mom could. When I went to work for the computer center in Hill Center on Bush campus, that's when I fell in love.
Wow.
That's when I really, really fell in love.
Welcome, Gary.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so thrilled that you're here with me.
I'm thrilled to be here with you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So let's go all the way back to the beginning. We're going to start at the beginning.
Beginning.
The beginning.
Okay.
Like childhood. So what were you like as a child?
What was I like as a child? I was pretty introverted.
Really?
Yeah, I was pretty much an introvert as a child. Love sports, so that's where.
What'd you play?
So I played basketball, softball, baseball, whatever ball I could play.
Oh, okay.
I was playing it. Even to the point of, I come from the inner city, so even in the summer, in the winters, we would shovel the basketball court just to play.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
we were pretty into it. But I was also introverted, a little nerdy, probably. Loved school.
Okay.
I mean, absolutely loved school. I think it was rare that I missed more than 5 days of school out of the school year. Loved to read. Tried to stay out of as much trouble as I could.
Tried,
yeah.
We're going to double tap into that.
Okay.
Say more about, what would have been trouble if you got into it?
Well, so I grew up in Newark.
Right.
I grew up in Newark in the inner city in the Central Ward, Springfield and Avon Avenue on 15th Street. And single parent household. I was the oldest of three.
So you and mom?
Me and mom.
Okay.
For the most part. Mom was working all the time.
Okay.
And I was out doing what I could do in the streets. And not that I was looking for trouble, but, you're at an adolescent. Kids just find things to do.
Right.
So even if that was, going to the store and maybe doing some things that you weren't really supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And so as a result of that, what did mom kind of do to make sure you stayed on the straight and narrow?
Yeah, great question. So I think probably the biggest thing that my mom did to keep me on the straight and narrow was to make sure that all the other parents in the neighborhood was keeping an eye on me.
Good.
And so I grew up in that era where, my next door neighbor or my buddy's mom could get on me just as much as my mom could.
Yeah.
And maybe even give me a beating.
A spanking was in order.
It was in order, right?
Yeah.
So usually I get a beating from somebody else's mom. And then when my mom came home, I got another beating.
Exactly.
Right. But it kind of kept you on the straight and narrow, or at least you had guardrails.
Yeah. Now, do you remember a time where either mom did something that kind of didn't make sense, helping people out, or you felt a need to just help somebody in the neighborhood?
I got a couple of stories there.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
Probably the biggest story for me is, so I grew up when I couldn't have been no more than 4 or 5. But when the riots happened in Newark, I was actually around. I got to see that.
Wow.
And so one thing that my mom did I never really understood it, was she actually went around giving the soldiers coffee. Like she was actually out in the street giving the soldiers coffee. And I never really asked her about that. But in hindsight, as I think about it as an adult, she still had to get to work. And I can remember sitting in the back of the car as, we saw soldiers and tanks and her passing out coffee. I think what was really going on was that was her way of getting in and getting out to go to work. Because she worked in Elizabeth and other towns.
Right.
My mother cleaned buildings for a living. That's what she did. And so in order to actually make sure that money was still coming in, she needed a safe passage in and out.
Wow. I'm a Civil War survivor, so that actually resonates with me because that really is a thing.
Yeah.
When things are going crazy and making sure you can negotiate safe passage.
Never, and to be honest with you, I hadn't thought about it. It probably was maybe a decade ago that I really even thought about it.
Yeah, so I love playing basketball too. And I used to, in the summers, literally we had a kind of chain around the neighborhood. And so the first person would wake up at 6 a.m. and I had my sneakers at the foot of my bed. And yeah, true confession, I'm not even sure I brushed my teeth, to be honest. And I would just slide my feet into my sneakers and jump out the window. And we would keep going to the whole neighborhood and we would be on the courts by 7 a.m.
Wow.
And we would play basketball until 3:30. Like our parents were coming home at 4, so we would be racing the cars getting back. And then we would double pad up because we knew we were going to get a beating because we didn't do our chores.
Right.
So we would have like 2 or 3 layers of stuff on, take the beating, do the chores, and do it all over again the next day.
I love it.
All for the love of basketball. Now you're growing up a little bit. You're in Newark. When do you become curious or figure out, I want to go to college or I want to go to high school and then eventually to college? And is it a specialized college you're thinking about at that time or high school, or are you even thinking about it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I don't know that I was thinking about college. What I did know, just because I love to read, is that I wanted to be an engineer.
Okay.
I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to fly airplanes, believe it or not. Wow. And I didn't really kind of understand how I was going to get there. But what happened to me was a little different. In the 9th grade, junior high school, I got accepted into a program called the Better Chance. Okay. And the Better Chance program basically took inner city kids as well as rural kids out of their environment and put them into a more academically inclined school. So unbeknownst to me, I was asked to apply for this program. So
who asked you to apply? Do you remember?
So it came from my 9th grade science teacher. Okay. Mrs. Appling. I still remember her name to this day. And I don't know how she got to my mother. I don't know what was happening. Right. Other than the fact that I knew I was scheduled to go to the local sports high school, Weekway High School, because I was a good basketball player. Right. And that summer I got pulled aside. My mother said, "Hey, you got to go take this exam." I went and took an exam. Thought I messed up on the exam. Okay. Because I actually, you're supposed to mark A, B, C, or D. Right. I noticed halfway through that I marked them wrong. So I had to erase everything. Oh, wow. And go do it again. And I eventually got accepted, got an academic scholarship to go to Amherst High School in Amherst, Massachusetts. And that's really when I started thinking about college. Actually, that was probably the first time that I actually felt, amongst my tribe, if you will, because there were like 10 college or 10 high school kids living in a house together, going to the local school, and we were from everywhere. Wow. And half of them wanted to be engineers. Wow. Nice. Yeah. Nice. I love that. So you get there and you now feel a little bit more at home. Is the prospect of college from a financial perspective a concern? Or do you feel like, I got this with the grades, I'm going to get a scholarship and go somewhere? Honestly, I didn't know. Okay. Because, it's not like I got a lot of guidance from home. My mom, high school graduate, she had 2 other kids that she had to worry about. Right. I don't know if she kind of understood what that path looked like. I did have people around me in that program that were guiding me. But it never really occurred to me whether or not this would get paid for or not.
Right. You just were like, I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out along the way. So I applied to a bunch of colleges, got accepted into a couple of Ivy Leagues, but I was homesick. And I wanted to come back to New Jersey. Really? Yeah. So
Funny you should say that. I'm going through that with my son at boarding school right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I didn't really know about Princeton per se as a university, but I knew about Rutgers. And so I applied to Rutgers, got into Rutgers. And
are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
The rest is history.
Yeah. So where did you go? Rutgers, Newark or Rutgers, New Brunswick?
Rutgers, New Brunswick. Oh, okay. So I went to Rutgers, New Brunswick.
Bush campus?
No. So I was actually on Cook College campus.
How did that happen?
So funny story again there. I applied. I got into Rutgers University, but I was waitlisted for the engineering school.
Okay.
And so because I was waitlisted, I was placed on the Cook College campus.
Oh, okay.
As an engineering student.
With the girls.
Well, yeah.
Close to the girls.
You had Douglas there too. Yeah,
right next door.
But I gotta tell you, I wasn't too
into them at that point.
I wasn't into them at that point.
Yeah.
But so I was over on Cook College, but most of my classes were on Bush.
That's wild because my internship was on Cook. So I actually spent a lot of time on Cook, but I lived on Bush.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So you get to Rutgers. Rutgers is a big school. How do you kind of find your people?
I don't know if I ever found them.
Right?
I don't know.
I found my people.
I was going to say, I don't know if I ever found my people there. I found a couple here and there.
Okay.
I think I was still probably a little nerdy in college as well. So I hung out a lot with the physics majors.
Okay.
Over at Bush.
Yep.
Spent a lot of time there. Yeah. Chemistry, I hated. Math, I was okay. I probably didn't really find my real tribe until probably my junior year, somewhere between my sophomore and junior year, because at that point I discovered computers.
Okay.
And when I discovered computers...
How did you discover a computer?
How did I discover...
Yeah. Was it in the lab downstairs? Because I know my first real exposure was in the lab in Bush downstairs.
Yeah. So for me... being that I was an engineer major, I had to take a class in Fortran.
Fortran, yes.
Right? So I had to take a class in Fortran.
Yes.
Fortran's Fortran. Yes. Everybody's got to know it.
Yeah.
And that is partially when I discovered my love. The other part was that speaking about financial.
Yeah.
I had to have a job. I had work study. I was on a work study program.
Yep.
So it came down to, okay, so where do you want to work? And I was like, I don't know. How about the computer center?
Yeah.
And when I went to work for the computer center in Hill Center on Bush campus, that's when I fell in love.
Wow.
That's when I really, really fell in love.
So you just started spending a lot of time there.
I spent all my time there.
Nice.
I spent all my time there talking to the guys and gals that were comp sci majors, realizing that this was something that I really loved. And I think the reason why I loved it was because it was so new at the time. It wasn't 100 years of engineering and this is what you're going to do. It was almost like the Wild Wild West. You had a set of classes, but outside of that, it was like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah. So is there a professor you talk to at this point? Like, how do you decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to navigate it and kind of make it a thing to walk out of here with?
No, I didn't have a professor.
Okay, so what did you do?
And so I just sort of navigated it myself. I think if I had that professor or at least kind of had somebody to help me navigate that, even if it was someone personally who was helping me navigate that, I probably would have stayed a lot longer. I probably would have went and got my master's. I had one friend who was in physics. I remember he was going after his PhD, and I'm like, why are you staying in school?
I know.
What? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But part of that, I think, was background too. I was coming from an inner city. Money was important. So for me, I was more inclined to find a job, and actually, I created a job for myself while I was in college.
Say more.
So somewhere.
I did too.
Yeah, somewhere around my junior, senior year, and my love of computers, and talking to at least one or two professors on Cook College, I realized that they weren't automated. And actually, it was from because I didn't play ball in college, I played some intramural ball. It was actually a phys ed professor over there that I had an opportunity to talk to. And he was like, man, I need a scheduling system. I need to create the scheduling system. I'm like, hey.
How about I give you that?
I could create a scheduling system for you. And so that was the first entree into me creating a job for myself, which later I turned into a small business. Because then I started automating the different departments inside of Cook College.
That's wild. Yeah, because my first company was formed at Rutgers.
Wow.
Cooking. African cooking.
I love it.
So we would cook for events and cook African food, which a lot of the organizations that were cultural organizations wanted. Yeah. And we made a killing. And then I met a professor at Cook who said, you know what, you're really into this business stuff. Come and intern for me, paid me $25 an hour, which at that time was like, what?
A lot of money. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so we started teaching at-risk youth through horticulture how to start businesses and kind of redirect. They were in juvenile kind of detention centers. Right. So we would go and I would teach in those centers, and then we actually built businesses, and we would plant trees all over New Brunswick.
Oh, wow.
And sell plants at fairs and stuff like that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
On Cook.
On Cook. I absolutely love it.
I was like, man, that's wild. So anyway, you do this. Now, what do you decide you're going to do after school is over? How do you get to the next thing when school is ending?
So while I was doing this business on the side, I had a friend who said, hey, Gary, look, we're going to this small startup called Loudtech. You should come and handle all of the programming for us and development. And so, how
much was it paying? Was it paying at that point?
Well, at the time, it was paying, I think, $20,000.
Wow!
Which at that time was a lot of money.
Yeah. And
so they had a coder or two in there doing some stuff, but he couldn't really code.
He didn't know what he was doing.
He didn't know what he was doing.
It wasn't you.
No, it wasn't me. And so I went there and, after I graduated that summer, I started and I got there and I was like, I cannot, there was so much chaos going on. Wow. They were making a lot of money. They were killing it. The owner had most of his accounts were banks in New York.
Okay.
So he was doing quite a bit of business, but he wasn't paying his people. And so the people that were in sales, some of my friends, he was willing to offer them a title, but weren't willing to offer them the money.
Okay.
And so I saw this and said, I got to go. I got to go. So I actually started looking around. Okay. Figured I'd go work in New York because I had in prior years for summers, I would just go and do temp work in New York. So loved the environment.
Okay.
Got with a headhunter. Headhunter found an opportunity at a company called Information Builders.
Okay.
Interviewed with them. They hired me for $26K, and I was gone.
It's like bye.
Bye. Gotta go.
And New York at that.
And in New York at that.
So you get there, and are you comfortable there for very long?
I stayed there for 29 years.
How did that work out? How did you think you were going to stay for 29 years?
Absolutely not. I thought I was going to stay for 2.
Okay.
And so the game plan was to stay for 2, get as much as you can, and then move on to the next thing.
Okay.
But once I got there, what I found out is that it was an entrepreneurial company. It was a startup. It was probably around 100 million at the time in revenue. The opportunities were endless. It was a business intelligence and data integration company. And I started on the ground level working in support, immediately found myself in product management after like a year,
being
an architect and doing some development. So So what kept me there?
When you say architect, what type of architect do you mean?
Great question. Great question. So I was architecting systems.
Okay.
So designing them, making sure that the business intelligence side was actually integrated into the data integration side. Right. But I really like the product management. That's what I really like. Yeah, I like that way more.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that way more because it put me in front of customers. And so I had the opportunity to work with a lot of customers. And the way that I got to product management was I got tapped on the shoulder. Someone said, hey, Gary, I always like to take the hard problems. Okay. So the hardest problem that existed, I was like, that's what you don't want to do that?
Yeah. I got it. Yeah, I love that.
I got it. So in doing that, I started developing a lot of systems that were not in place, right? And developing the techniques for solving problems for business customers, the whole bit. And got tapped on the shoulder and said, hey, Gary, we want you to manage this product, which if you're an IT person, it was IMS at the time, which was like one of the hardest databases to utilize inside the industry. Not a whole lot of expertise. Right. And then went from there.
So you were there are few people in technology who understand deeply the technical side and are able to translate it and sit with customers. It sounds like you found yourself at that intersection really, really well.
Yeah, I kind of stumbled into it. I can't even say that I was, that was my goal, but
did you know that about yourself, or is it the guy who tapped you the first time that kind of turned you on to it? How did you start to realize this is my unique skill set relative to other people? Yeah,
that's a phenomenal question. So I didn't know it. I was, I was doing support, fast growing company. We were probably taking 20 to 30 calls a day. I just liked solving problems, right? And that was the basis of it. And then I had one of my customers who said, hey, look, you got the bedside manner of a doctor.
There we go.
And he actually put that in writing. And so the person that tapped me on the shoulder was actually one of the owners of the company, and said, hey, look, we want you to come and do a little more.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so then what happens next in the company? How do you ascend? Do you do some things? Do you hit any walls or bumps where you kind of like, I'm not sure if I want to stay? Or was it just kind of great the whole time?
Nah, I hit a lot of walls. What do you mean?
Give me some examples. Sounds great so far.
Every time I turned around, I was hitting a wall. Probably the first wall that I hit was with my peers. Okay. Right. And so, I'm walking up there, company maybe 125 people. We got maybe 2 black people. Right. And then which I was one. Right. So I was constantly being challenged. And so I can remember days where I just wanted to close the door and fight. Like, I don't want any witnesses.
We can take this outside.
We take this outside.
Right.
And I had to deal with a lot of strong personalities. So there was always some ceiling to break through. There was always, some issue that got raised. And so for me, it got to the point where I was like, look, we can fight right now and go have a beer later. Right. So let's just make it happen.
My son just said that literally a couple of days ago with one of his basketball teammates. Yeah. Let's just fight.
Let's just fight it out. Let's just fight it out. And so, I was notorious, speaking of your son, in basketball, I was notorious for doing that on a basketball court. Like, you could be my best friend, but we can go to blows if we gotta. Right. And then figure it out later. Yeah. So I just took that attitude kind of along with me in my career. And so what I found out is that people who are in decision-making positions like people who can fight.
Of course.
And debate. And that's now one less problem they got to worry about because I know you got this. And it took me a while to figure that out. Okay. But once I did, I just, a fight was not.
Doors were getting knocked down after that.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. So you're there, all things work well. What makes you decide to leave?
I thought that I had did everything that I could do at that company. And so, after being a product manager for a while, and I was product manager for a $40 million product and we went from 0 to 40 million. Nice. I was that guy. So anytime a customer had an issue or we were opening up a new product, I was there. So I was young. I was traveling all over the world. Life was great. Are you married yet at this point? Okay. No, I'm not. No? I'm not married yet. And I went from being a product manager to being sales. So I did sales for probably 10 years there. I got tapped on the shoulder again to go into sales. Started off domestically working financial services accounts, and then eventually went international. And so,
where internationally? Where are you selling to or going to?
Going to South America, Brazil, Venezuela. Did a European. Most of my customers were in Europe, so Austria, Germany, England,
nice,
Netherlands.
And are you received well there?
So depends.
Right. Well,
it depends. Certain countries, not so much.
Right.
So, back then we didn't have video, right? So there was no video. So here's this dude, Gary Mann, who comes walking in, and I learned over there that it's really a German name, right? Mann is a German name.
Right.
So I walk in the door, and everybody's looking around for who this guy is.
Right. He can't be Gary.
Can't be Gary. Right. They're addressing my colleagues who are from over there, and so they would have to deal with me. Yeah. Right. They would have to deal with me. So.
And how would you establish authority in that situation?
So by this point, I'm used to fighting.
Right.
By this point, I'm used to fighting. I'm used to debating. No, that's not Gary Mann. That's me. And here's what we're going to do today. Right. Or here's how we're going to close this deal today. It varied from place to place. So, I mean, for me, I just, it wasn't a color thing.
I had the pleasure of managing a global team. And I remember in England, I went to interview folks for my team, and the guy who came to interview after, he just killed himself from the beginning.
Right.
He literally said, "Oh, so you must be the HR lady."
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
No.
The
HR lady, because that's the only possible thing.
Right. You're either accounting or an HR.
Right. I didn't have a British accent. I'm coming from the States. You can tell that in our conversation, and somehow you think I am the UK British HR lady, because I don't think HR folks are flying over here to interview you.
Yeah.
But so obviously he didn't work on the team.
Yeah, and I'm sure that happened often. I can think of one instance where I was I was bringing out a new product, being the product manager. I wanted to get a firsthand view of what customers were thinking, and so I decided to teach a class, a training session, to all of our high-end customers. And I can remember going through the lesson, and one guy just raises his hand from the back of the room. That's not what the manual says.
Oh,
okay. So what chapter are you talking about?
Oh,
what section? What paragraph? What sentence? That is not, I had to finally say that is not what I wrote. Here's what I wrote, and here's what is actually in there. So let's go to that page right now. Let's go to that page right now. Let's read it. Yeah, because he was questioning my authority, right? So you had to nip that in the bud.
Absolutely.
Right. So so it happened a lot.
I love it. You mentioned going from 0 to 40 million. What was the blueprint or the recipe for that? And literally in stages, right? Because there's the part where you get to a certain number, and then there's the part where you scale to get to 40.
Yeah.
What did that look like?
Yeah. So
what product was it? So
it was a product that we at the time we called it FolkNet. It was a data integration project, And so what it actually did was it actually allowed you to connect systems together, whether it be connect databases together or connect databases from different computers together. Okay. And so we didn't kind of really know it was unique. We had a couple of financial services customers that were using it. We were building the product. Where we really found out the value of it is when a couple of our partners decided that they wanted to use it. The first partner being IBM. Oh. And so IBM came in and said, hey, this kind of looks interesting. Can you really kind of tell us what you're doing? And we told them, and then they said, well, can you join 2 SQL databases across multiple machines? Said, we can give it a shot, right?
We'll try.
We'll try. Well, we did. Right. We did it. It was the first time that IBM was able to do that.
Really?
Yeah, first time they were able to do that.
Amazing.
And they decided to white label our solution.
Okay.
And so that's where we saw the first incremental growth.
Right.
Actually, it's more exponential growth.
Right.
Because they then started selling it to their customers.
Right. And then,
yeah. And so we looked at that model and we said, well, can we do this anywhere else? You know, are there any other partners out there that might need the same capability? And at the time, Oracle was the next partner. They were kind of like one of the up and comers. They were attempting to access data across multiple systems. Right. We then leased the technology to them. And by the time that we hit, you know, the 30 million or so threshold, we turned around. We had created over 200 different data adapters, which is what they were called at the times. And we had about 10 different partners that were white labeling our software. Wow. And so we and I can't really say that I had the foresight of doing this. I think it was more on the sales side because at the time I wasn't really in sales. Our sales guys and gals, because some of our best salespeople were women, actually.
We can sell a thing or two.
Oh, you sell a thing or two.
Just a thing.
Actually showed us what that model looked like. Okay. And so, you know, companies like Unisys was white labeling our software.
I love that. Certainly. I benefited from that, doing what I did at NIC for sure. So you're doing this, you finally decide, okay, it's time for me. I want to explore a bit the sales transition you made, right?
Sure.
And so you're clearly understanding the technology, leading edge in that. You get tapped to go and work in sales. Are you received well by the sales folks?
So I was received well by the sales team. What shocked me was I wasn't received well by all of these clients who were dependent on me, who now saw me as like the enemy. And so
say more.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned this because I remember the day that it was announced that I was going into sales, my phone stopped ringing. My phone was ringing off the hook. Like I had to have people, you know, take my calls, you know, and organize my schedule because everybody wanted me, right? Like it's like if I was to land in Italy, you know,
you're fully booked.
I'm fully booked. Not only am I fully booked, but hopefully the people in London don't hear about that I'm over there, right? Because now I got to spend 2 weeks over there instead of 1 week.
I get it.
I got nothing. I got crickets. It was literally crickets, and I panicked because I really didn't understand what was going on. And so I was received by the other salespeople because they were like, yeah, he's technical, but he doesn't know sales. Right.
Okay.
Right. So he's not really to me.
He's an asset.
He's an asset.
We'll bring him along.
Let's bring him along because
you know, he's our tech guy. Yeah,
exactly.
I think there's a name for it. Sales engineer, I guess.
It was
a bigger one, I'm sure.
Well, no, I mean, it was a tech engineer. It was your tech rep.
Right.
It was,
whatever they were calling it. Yeah. Okay. And so why did the phone stop ringing though?
Well, I think I can give you what my impression was. My impression was I went from that trusted advisor to that person that's trying to sell
to be wary of.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Right. Because, you know, if you're in the game and it doesn't matter where you are, you know, at the time we were doing 6, 7, and 8 figure deals. But now it's like, yeah, Gary, I need you because I don't trust your sales guy. I know he's trying to sell me something. Right. That I may not need. To me being that sales guy, trying to sell them something that they don't need. And so it was pretty interesting. But after a while, I figured out how to develop the trust of prospects and clients as well. And it was, it was basically the same formula. Did
you have to sacrifice some sales as a result of that because it wasn't really in the best interest of the customer and, more important for the long-term relationship?
So I think I may have sacrificed certain portions of the sale.
Okay.
Right. As opposed to the sale. What I realized is that decision makers love someone who can just be honest with them. Right. Absolutely. Be honest, tell them the truth. Sometimes even tell them, I need to make the sale to make my number.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh, I love that.
They'd rather hear that than for you to try and sell them something that they don't need.
Agreed.
Yeah. And so I found that towards the end of the quarters, towards the end of the sales year, those customers that now trusted me were actually looking for me to do deals. Right. As an example, it's the end of coming up on the end of the fiscal year. You may have $500,000, $1 million that you got to spend.
Yep.
You got to find, because if you don't spend it, you're not getting it the following year.
I know.
Right. And so, they would call me and say, hey, look, is there anything we can purchase in order to, make this money go away?
Yeah. So you decide, okay, I've done all I can do here. What's the next move? Do you immediately jump into something else? Do you take some time and say, let me figure out what that is? Do you know when you're leaving?
So I put a timetable on.
Okay. Why?
Well, because I was
the wife here yet?
No.
Okay.
I'm not married. I have a daughter.
Okay.
I do have a daughter at that time, but I'm not married. But
why the timetable then?
Because it was time.
Okay, you just
it was just time.
Okay.
It was just time to do something differently. And so at that point, I took like 6 months off.
Okay.
And decided to go work for a small startup in Princeton called Global IDs.
Okay.
And they had some very unique software, mainly used in the financial services business. What was unique about them is you could drop their software on top of your entire environment and it would go and discover, seek and destroy personal information that might be that you might not know existed, whether that be in a database, on a piece of hardware. And so for the financial services industry, that was huge, right? It was absolutely huge. So I went there to manage their partner program.
Okay.
And I was there for 2 years.
Yeah. How'd they go? Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was coming from, this $500 million company to a $20 billion company. And there were just certain things that I thought weren't getting done that should be getting done. And probably the biggest tell for me was I remember being at a conference with the CEO down there. I'm with who he says is his primary partner. And so I walk over to the partner and I say, hey, do you know what we do?
Okay.
He said, no, but man, I love that. I'm not even gonna say the guy's name. Yeah. I love that guy. But I said, you don't understand what we do or how we make money together? He said, no. So at that point, I'm questioning, how good of a partner are you really? Because I don't know if we're generating revenue from you. But what I started to do is I started to actually educate him on what it was that we do and to show him how our systems were complementary. And they were complementary.
Right.
And then I began to teach his salespeople how to sell our solution and why they wanted to actually include us into deals. And that was kind of enlightening, right? It was enlightening on several fronts. But for me, I was like, how are these guys making money? And how am I going to make money?
Right.
Because I was commission based at the time. Strange story. at the time, there was a new European regulation in place, GDPR came into place, right? And I was like, we are perfect for this. We should be teaming up with Accenture, with KPMG, Ernst & Young. We had a real good connection with Ernst & Young. But our leadership team really didn't want to promote it. And I could never understand. I didn't understand it. I was like, you got to be marketing this. You got to get in front of this. And I remember saying, we're going to market this. And I hired a company. I was getting ready to put down my credit card.
Oh, wow.
I said, something is wrong here. Something is very wrong here. Something is very wrong here. And that's when I decided to part ways.
Okay.
And so while it was a great product, great people, it was time to move on. Did you at this point say, I need to be investing in something that I'm driving? Or are you still making the next move to another place too? No, at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of making other people money.
Right.
I'm tired of making other people money. So I decided to hang out a shingle. Decided to start a company called Jazzfall Analytics. And I've been doing that ever since.
And how has it gone?
It's going great. It's hard as all get out.
Yeah.
I love the technology.
What is the technology?
The technology is, so we are a data engineering and AI firm.
Right.
So basically what we do is we help organizations, particularly leadership, figure out, what data they have, what data they need, and how to actually use it to solve business problems.
Right.
Where those business problems are generating revenue or, reducing costs, expanding into a new market. Initially, I thought that a lot of smaller businesses would need this, and they actually do.
They do.
But what I quickly realized is that they're not willing to pay for it.
Right.
Right. And so I had to then upscale who my prospect was. But it's going.
That's awesome. Do you see a future where you have a model that maybe is a shared model for smaller businesses where they can collaborate on accessing data? I don't know. You're looking at me like...
No, I don't.
He's like, no, they're not going to pay.
I don't see a model for that.
They're not going to pay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, prospect... either has to be generating 8 million or above. Okay. And that's still a small business, right? But
data matters to them at that point.
It's absolutely right. Yeah. And in many cases, they've got systems in place that they're struggling to either understand what they have, right, how to get the data out, and how to do something with the data.
Right. That makes sense. Has there been a time in your career where you being the data guy didn't have the data?
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
And you needed to make some decisions. And what did you do?
So,
an example.
Yeah. I mean, a real example is about 2 years ago, we were doing a project for a maternal child health initiative here in New Jersey. And while we were collecting data, right, and usually when you don't have the data, that's the first thing to do is how can I go out and actually collect the data, right? Whether that be through surveys or whatever that may be, and realize that wasn't enough. And so did a research project, understood that New Jersey Department of Health actually had the data. And so then it was a process of how do you get that data from them?
And sometimes it's, as you say, having to start building the model and extrapolate from what you're seeing and then continue to grow the data to be more precise over time.
That's correct.
Okay. So then how'd you end up at chairing the African American Chamber of Commerce board? Like, where did that come from? Was it golfing? Are you a golfer?
I am a golfer. Okay. I am a golfer.
Okay.
But it didn't come out of that. Okay. So it was kind of crazy. So when I first started the company, the first thing I realized is I didn't have a sales staff, right?
Okay.
So now I'm thinking, all right, I need to be partnering up with people. I need to find places where I can network, where I can find these people that can find me opportunities. So I happened to go to an event at NJPAC. Governor Murphy at the time was speaking there, and he mentioned this guy named John Harmon.
Oh, John, yes.
And the African American Chamber of Commerce. And so after listening to him, I was like, I gotta find out who this organization is. I got to meet this guy. And so did some research, found out that the chamber was actually having an event. It was their annual gala. Oh yeah, at the time. So
amazing event.
And you as a board member, you know how great those events are.
Yes.
And so being that I had a sales background, I was like, look, I got to kind of make a splash here. So let me sponsor the chamber. Yes. Because they had sponsorships, so I figured I'd buy a table, right? So bought a table, invited some potential prospects and companies that I was wanting to work with, and I go up. I'm at the event. I see the dais. I see this opportunity, right? This break, where I can go up and introduce myself to Mr. Harmon. I go up. I say, "Hi, Mr. Harmon. My name's Gary Mann. I'm from Jazzville Analytics." He says, "You're one of our sponsors."
He knows who you are.
He knows who. He was like, "You're one of our sponsors. In 10 minutes, you need to be in a room in the back. I'm introducing all of our sponsors to the governor."
Nice. That's just
talk about access.
Yeah.
I was completely sold.
Yeah.
I was completely sold on the chamber. Not only did I sponsor it, I later joined the chamber. Got deeply involved, attended as many events as I could, found partners, friends, the whole bit, and business. Yeah. And again, I looked around, I got tapped on the shoulder. Yeah. And it was kind of crazy. It was actually, here's where the golf comes in. So John calls me and says, "Hey, you want to try and get some golf in?" I was like, "Yeah." He gives me a date because by then we kind of know each other. Yeah. And I said, "Well, let me bring my friend, my friend Dale Favors." Okay. And so Dale, he's kind of like he's in business for himself. He comes anyway. Long story short, we play golf. Comes out afterwards. For some reason, John says, "I need some new board members. Dale, who do you think should be on there?" He says, "Well, Gary Mann."
Yeah.
That's how I got on the board.
That was a nice tee up. So, are you good at golf?
I'm okay.
How's your golf game, relatively speaking? What would the guys say if they were here? It's okay. He's a great.
No, I mean,
you're a competitor, so
I'm a competitor. Yeah. My golf game has been rough lately. Okay. Well, let's be honest. My golf game has been rough since I started a company. Okay. So I got as low as a handicap before. Okay. I'm working hard to get back there right now because I just realized that I love golf. It's my release, so I'm getting back into it.
Oh, that's awesome. So were you always? You said you were an introvert early on. Were you always great at networking, or did you develop that skill? Do you still really like it, or do you do it?
I love networking.
Okay.
I love networking.
How did that transition happen?
So
for a young man out there, a woman who's starting their business, and
that's a great question. Yeah. So I think mine started actually back in high school. Okay. And so told you I went to high school in Amherst, Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. When I got there, nobody looked like me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, very few people. I'm going from all black to all white. Yeah. I played ball while I was there, started developing friendships, started realizing, hey, these people are just like me. Mm-hmm. There's no difference. Nope. We just look different, but we got the same wants, same desires, same interests. And that kind of freed me up a lot. Mm-hmm. In terms of talking to people, because then you go to college, right? And I didn't go to an HBCU, right? So there were very few of me, right? Yeah. So again, I had to develop those relationships, but I really didn't understand the power of networking until I actually got into information builders and realized that the more people that know you, the better off you are, and can be. And I say I'm an introvert, but once you get me talking, sometimes I can't stop.
But so was there a point though that you had to say to yourself, I got to get better at this?
Yes.
What was that point?
So that point was when I went into sales, when I went from product management to sales. Mm-hmm. And so in that process and going through the training of sales, you learn how to actually find opportunities, mm-hmm. right? And to find opportunities, you've got to talk to people. Mm-hmm. And many times you got to kind of ask open-ended questions and shut up. Mm-hmm. And so I think because of the sales training that I had during that time, that helped me in the networking. And I also realized how important it was. On top of that, I started going to conferences or being invited to conferences or being told by my sales manager, told to go to these environments, and then just being grilled, right? Because after every week we were grilled, right? Mm-hmm. How many deals you got? Mm-hmm. What's your pipeline look like? How many deals you close? Yeah, and that actually part of that and the training that I received kind of forces you to network. Okay. You have no choice. You either are going to network or you're going to die.
I love it. Say it again.
You're either going to network or you're going to die.
Right.
Right. And so, every year in sales, if you're in a large organization, the bottom 20 get fired. Let's just call it.
They're gone.
Right. They're gone. The bottom 20 gets fired. Mm-hmm. The middle, y'all are kind of safe for a minute. Yeah. But if you're at the top, you can pretty much dictate what you do.
Right.
And so in order to be at the top, there's certain skill sets that you've got to implement every day.
I love that. All right. So we're here. What is your vision for Jazzfell going forward?
Developing product and scaling. Okay. Right now, that is all that I'm thinking about now is going from a full consultancy agency to one that has product. And so I've got a ton of ideas on products and, stop and start. And I'm one of those, hey, you got to fail your way to success. So I've created more product that have failed, that have been successful. But I'm still in that mindset.
Okay.
And so...
And they're AI business intelligence based space or...
So the answer is yes. Okay. And so I hesitated there for a minute because while we're in this era of everybody thinking AI, 80% of businesses are still just thinking about reporting.
Right. Just getting the data out in a format that they can understand.
Show me descriptively what I've done in the past. And so it's an education process with many to say, hey, look, you can start predicting your business, what's happening in your business. And many companies have that gut feeling. If you talk to the C-suite, they'll say, hey, look, I think that, I'm going to, make this number next year. Well, how do you make sure that actually happens?
Right.
And so that's where the predictive comes in. And then the latest technology, meaning the transformer technology, I think it's endless there.
Yeah. I was telling somebody, I guess it would be 19 years ago now, I built my career on NICE. At NICE, the bulk of my career around data and farming data and getting to data and connecting databases. And at that time, we were measuring our trading systems in 5-minute increments. And I'm like, we can't see anything. Everything's smoothed out. The amount of transactions we're doing, we can't see anything. But there was such an in-house fight to get to milliseconds and nanoseconds because people had fiefdoms.
Yeah, that's right.
That they protected with databases that were extinct, essentially, or proprietary databases they had built and they did not want to kind of democratize because that would mean their fiefdom would be over. And I had to fight quite a lot of fights to get people. In fact, I had to go around technology to the business to be able to prove the value of doing that. Later, now everybody was adopting it. We were going global and all of that. And it's interesting because I was talking to somebody yesterday who says those things are still happening today in corporate. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for developing products in that space. The question, though, that I will ask is around AI and its use by companies, right? And what that looks like for a person considering a technology career going forward. What would you advise them? How should they position themselves?
That's a great question, and one that a lot of our kids are dealing with right now. And so what I've been advising is that, let me back up for a second. I'm hearing people are saying and writing computer science degrees are dead.
Right.
Right. And that's been happening for, a blip, right? What we're starting to see now, and even the larger companies, is that, no, I still need software engineers, right? I need humans because I can't trust the machines 100%.
Right.
Right. I mean, I just can't. I'm not sure they're writing the right code.
Right.
I was listening to a podcast just yesterday where the head of a company was saying, hey, look, it's costing me more to allow the machines to write it and then to have a software engineer come behind it. So what I would seriously advise is continue down that path of computer science. There's nothing wrong with that, but you've got to integrate the use of the large language models, right? The transformer technology, because they add a level of productivity that we haven't seen in a while. Right. Right. It's probably been like 2 decades or more since we've seen this type of productivity or anything that even comes close. So you've got to know how to architect with agents, AI agents. Right. You've got to know how to prompt them. But more importantly, you've got to tighten up your soft skills, your critical thinking, specifically your critical thinking.
I love that. I love that. And I feel like there's room for growth in that area with our young people and how they're being educated.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. As a matter of fact, I debate, fortunately or unfortunately, with educators all the time. Yeah. Right. And so many of them do not want to have their students use AI in the classroom. Yeah. And, the analogy that I throw at them is think when I was coming up, you couldn't use a calculator in physics. Right. Right. You couldn't use a calculator in physics, chemistry. You couldn't use a calculator in mathematics, right? Calculus. Now they're standard. Yeah. You can't do it. You can't do your work without it. That's where we are right now with the transformer technology or the AI technology, right? It is exactly the same. If you're not allowing them to use it, you're not allowing them to think big and solve big problems. You're still at a ceiling that's way too low for where the technology is. I love it. Oh, that's great. That's a great one. So technology and data, we agree, both evolving rapidly. What does a person do to stay ahead in this space? You got to be an insatiable learner. I mean, there's no other way around it. What should they be learning? Great question. Depends. What side are you on? Are we talking about a technologist or a comp sci engineer major? I would say a technologist. Yeah. As a technologist, for me, I think, we talked a little bit about the transformer technology, the large language models. I think you got to learn how they actually work. Right. And so the reason why I say that is that, I'm still a hands-on guy. I try to do as less as possible. You're in the basement still coding. Tell the truth. So the answer is, I'm coding some things, but I've got other people doing the production coding. Okay. So I used to sleep under my desk and compile code. 100%, 100%. But I'm fascinated by this, and so for me, it's actually learning what they actually can do and can't do. Okay. And actually comparing them. Right. So if you take a look at where we are now, not sure if you know about this site called Hugging Face. I don't. So Hugging Face is where you can find models, AI models. 3 years ago, there was about 100,000 models on there. If you take a look now, you might have 3 million. Wow. Models, different models that you can use that are publicly available. How do you discern which one of those models actually work for you? Right. Right. And can actually do the work that you need to do. Some of the models, they can talk to each other now. So understanding how these models actually work, how you can implement them, the pluses and minuses of the models is important. So for me, if I'm talking to a younger Gary, I'm like, study what those models are doing, because we're going from a person having to code everything to a person orchestrating the coding.
Right. I love that. That's what I enjoy actually about playing with AI is now I could just push it as hard. Like I want to break it all the time.
That's right.
I do. All right. So I'm going to switch gears completely. When you're in tense moments where you don't know if things are going to work out, what song do you listen to?
What songs?
Yeah, what song? What's your song?
So
what lets you let your hair down regardless?
So I got a couple of songs.
Okay.
So the first one is God Did.
Oh, I love that song.
By DJ Khaled. So that's my anthem.
Okay.
That is my anthem because nobody else is thinking that I can do this.
Right.
I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Okay.
That's probably the top one.
Okay. What else?
Wow.
Couple more if you want to throw in the bag.
Couple more. Let's see. What was I listening to? There's a song. I was just listening to
You can look it up.
I can look it up?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to let me look it up?
Yes.
Oh, forget about it.
Look it up.
Oh, I'm getting ready to tell you what my playlist is here now. You let me look it up?
We're building an impact playlist. So yeah,
my goodness.
we take songs.
All right. I'm drawing a blank because I wasn't expecting this question. I'm drawing a complete blank here.
I love it.
Pour It Out. Pour It Out is good.
Pour It Out.
Canton Jones, Pour It Out.
Okay.
That's
okay.
That's my other go-to.
I'm gonna have to listen to that now.
Oh my God, that's my go-to song. As a matter of fact, I was listening to it today. That's why I was crazy that I was drawing a blank to it. But
Pour It Out.
But I
had to listen to that on the way home. Yeah. I always get a new song every time I talk to somebody.
Is that right? And so I think I'm getting to my third one with.
Now you're gonna want to get the third one.
You see my personality.
I know.
Right?
I see it in action.
You see my personality.
He's like, nah, I gotta get it.
I gotta find this.
I gotta get it.
Go ahead. Please go ahead. I'm gonna look for this.
Okay, so there's only one other question I have, which is if you had to do it all over again and pay all of the costs that you had to pay, go on, the entire journey, would you do it all over again exactly the same way?
Absolutely on 90%.
Say more.
So, there's just a couple of things that I probably would have done differently. I often think that I probably should have went to an HBCU.
Okay.
Right?
Because of the networks or just because you wanted that experience? This is an interesting question because my son is right at this point.
Yeah. So two reasons. One is I think my confidence level would be way higher or would have been way higher when I came out. The reason why I say that is that I think it's more of a nurturing environment. And you don't really get that in a place like Rutgers University. So that's one.
Okay.
The second is I think I probably would have gone on to do a master's or a PhD. Mainly because I think because of the nurturing environment, I may not have been as pressed. And then also a lot of Ivy Leagues look at them for future opportunity.
They do.
Yeah. So that's one. The second is it's more of a regret than anything.
All right.
And so for whatever reason, I just happened to be in Atlanta and I decided to go to the King Center and Claretta Scott King came out.
Oh, wow.
She came out to see who this dude was taking pictures. And I was in such awe of actually seeing her.
Yeah.
I never stopped to say hi and introduce myself.
Really?
True story. True story.
Wow.
And then she passed away a year later. That's always lived with me. So that's part of that 10% that I probably would do differently.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think we all got some.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Thank you for having this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
I hope it wasn't too painful. I think it was painless.
It was great. It's always great talking to you.
I appreciate your time.
You made me feel very comfortable.
Good. I'm glad. Well, that's all for now, folks.
Okay, I got to find the song now. You don't understand.
Thanks for listening to The Cost of Impact, because behind every impact, there's a cost. And the question is, would you pay it? Until next time, keep building what matters. You ready?
I hope so.
Women, we need to know.
Got it.
That we're good. The men don't care. The women do. That's real talk.
Don't care. Mother's Prayer by Canton Jones.
Mother's Prayer. Remember, we got that recorded?
There's two parts. First is a prayer that a mother gives for her son.
Oh, wow.
And the second is the son actually.
Oh, see, now I'm definitely going to listen to that.